Welcome back to Overtime Heroics. I'm Mason Shatwell, and joining me today is amateur fighter Amy Derwanz. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain. I'm going to go back to your last fight, obviously. Cage Steel 25, April 10th. You got the win by decision. How was it to get back in the win column?
It was great, to be honest. As I say, I weren't doing too well beforehand. Well, my record didn't look that way, so it was good just to get back in there and have a good performance and show everyone that, like, my other two fights previously weren't my full potential, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm better. Yeah.
Well, obviously, it was a fight that came after two losses, as you've alluded to, and it felt great to get back in the win column. But after being on the two-fight skid, what was that feeling like, obviously, going back to the gym after not being victorious in a couple of fights?
To be honest, it didn't really bother me because I didn't look at them as wins and losses, all of them. I just looked at them all as experiences because, I mean, it's not like in the other two, I didn't get any good round time. I mean, I went the distance with Lexi. I almost went the distance with Megan. And there were still positives to the performance. And I'm always just back in the gym straight away anyway. So it was just, oh, well, that didn't work out. Back to work for the next one. Didn't really dwell on the fact that I've lost and how I look to everybody else. It was more effective. Well, just learn from what went wrong and just get back in there.
Would you say you're a type of person that always looks ahead after the fight, and instead of dwelling on the fight, win or lose, you're always looking ahead of the next one?
Yeah, well, the only thing is, at amateur level, I mean, it's not as serious, and I'm only still young. So it's just a case of, and it can be hard for me to get fights. So it's like, I just want to jump in there. Don't worry about, oh, well, I didn't perform as good last time, or, oh, I'm not sure how these are going to be against me. You know, I don't know if they're going to be a lot bigger or smaller or what. I just think get in there and just get as much experience as you can. So I don't dwell on the losses because at this point in my career, they really aren't too significant, you know.
How did the fight on Cage Steel come about?
Well, I've been one of the main, there's not many other women fighting at Cage Steel, so I tend to always be matched with somebody. And I think quite a few of people from Mim's gym was fighting some of the other lads from AVT and all that, and she was interested in the fight, and obviously we're at like 57 and I fight at 57, but I fought at 135. You know, I'm at 125 now. However, it was more just like she was interested in a fight and I'll fight anyone if they're, you know, somewhat interested in getting in there. So I think it was her debut, and because she had other lads fighting from her gym up here, it was just perfect, really.
Are you looking to get back on the Cage Steel show in August?
I actually have a fight confirmed, but I don't know if I was supposed to. I don't know if it's because it hasn't been announced by Cage Steel, but I've been told I'm fighting. Mm-hmm. So I will be fighting for a title, the flyweight. Is it flyweight? Yeah, flyweight title. So.
Well, we've got the perfect insight here on Overtime Heroics. I'm going to go to your debut. Obviously, you won that. Before I talk about that fight, what made you want to start MMA in the first place?
Well, actually, I've always done martial arts since I was 4 years old. I started with traditional Wado-ryu karate. I did that because SpongeBob wanted to do karate. And I used to watch. I was obsessed with it as a kid. So I was like, Dad, can you take me to karate? And then when I got to like the age of 10, I was like, I want to fight more. And I got rejected from a few MMA gyms for being a young lass. You know, so I ended up doing kickboxing. So I went into like the sport karate, kickboxing, points fighting, worked my way up. Did pretty well in that. And then I started training with Scott Askham when I was 13 with grappling, like submission grappling, and then it sort of just kept evolving from there. Moved to AV.
What's your favourite aspect of MMA?
As in the favourite discipline, or what my favourite thing is just about it?
Yeah, your favourite discipline.
I'd say jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. However, I really appreciate the wrestling aspect. It's, I think it makes up a big portion of how well you can be successful is how well you can wrestle. I think sometimes you dictate where the fight goes most of the time. So as much as I love jiu-jitsu, I still really appreciate and love the sport of wrestling.
Is there any disciplines that you're not too keen on?
I wouldn't want to say anything bad about anyone's discipline, because I've done some and they aren't the most realistic, you could say, or whatever. I think every martial art's good in its own ways. I mean, you do have them dodgy instructors that won't teach you a martial art, but I think any martial art in itself will have its positives and negatives that you can just take away and apply to mixed martial arts, or like for whatever you need it for. So there aren't any that I particularly dislike, but some are more useful than others.
Well, let's go back to your first fight, as I was going to allude to. What was it like making your debut and getting the win in your first fight?
That was brilliant, but at the same time, I think you don't know what it's like. It was so quick. I didn't get much experience in that time. So then the second time going into the cage, I was like, I've only had less than a minute in here beforehand. It's like, and then if it's the step up of level as well, because obviously Megan was a step up from Paige, who I fought. I mean, that fight still went pretty decent for me, and me and Megan are, we're friends and everything. So it's not like the fact that I won so quickly was great. It's a good confidence boost, but at the same time, it's like it'd have been good to have a little bit more time initially in the cage and get used to it first.
100%. I'm always interested when speaking to amateurs or professionals about nerves ahead of a fight. Do you say you get nervous before walking out for your fight at all?
Yeah, when I can control my nerves pretty well now, because I did a lot of competitions when I was growing up with kickboxing, so I've had to get into that, and weekends away, and you're always doing something. But I do get quite nervous, but when it comes to walking out, I'm more filled with excitement, because the music comes on and I'm stood there and I'm like, this is what I want to do. I'm not nervous. I'm ready at that point. I'm like, I've done the weight cut. I've warmed up, spoke to everybody. This is the part that I've been training for. So why should I be nervous? This is what you do.
Exactly. I know you mentioned earlier, obviously, you're only young, early into your career, but I'm sure you've got aspirations to go pro at some point. Is there a time that you want to do that by?
There isn't a particular set plan yet or time frame, because I mean, with only just leaving college anyway and just getting back into it, I'm just getting into that routine. I will be going professional. That is the dream, and making it as big as I can. I do have those aspirations, but I'm not rushing, just getting back in the gym a lot more full time than what I could have been before. I mean, I doubt I'll be an amateur for years on years, as I've had enough experience. I've already done 4 fights in at 18. So I've got just keep training, keep fighting, and just see where it goes. There's no set structure. So I'm just going to keep going until get the opportunities, really.
Just a couple more questions for myself. I know you train at AVT in Leeds. What is it like training with the guys down there?
Oh, it's brilliant training with everyone down at AVT. There's everyone's really like friend. Everyone helps each other. Do you know what I mean? There's no being a girl. I don't feel like I get treated differently. So, and that's obviously being a girl. You do have to like see what the other gym's like. But everyone there is. I mean, there's loads of high level fighters. There's loads of a lot less high level. That we've got a really good variety from the people that are the main fighters to the people that just train recreationally. So it's a nice environment, and there's plenty of people, lads my size, to train, or relatively close enough to my size. So I can get a good variety. And there is some women who do jiu-jitsu and things and whatnot. So I get a good variety of training partners.
100%. And just a couple more things. Is there any shout outs or anything you want to give before we end today?
No, I don't have anything to shout out. Smooth flow fight wear though. I got a new gi and some training kit from there, and it has held up really well so far. So I'll give a shout out to those. But other than that, Speed Freak Engineering, my sponsor as well.
And then just two more things. How can people find yourself on social media?
You can find me under the username kboxa_Amy, KBOXA_Amy, for pretty much all social medias, or Amy Derwanz MMA on Facebook if you want to go to my MMA Facebook page. But yeah, that's it. All social media.
Well, I think we've covered quite a bit today. I just wanted to say thank you for joining me, and I can't wait I can't wait to see you fight on Cage Steel again in August.
Yeah, it'd be great. Can't wait. Everyone should get tuned into that, because there will be some brilliant fights, not just my fight. So get yourself down if you're local.